Welcome back, everyone. I'm Rod. This is Rants About Gaming, and today I'm going to be talking about the Nomad once again. This ship is an awesome little ship, and the more I play around with it, the more I learn about it. And this video is just kind of an example of that. So I'm going to pull out a couple of vehicles to try to fit on the back of it first and just talk about it. I know these vehicles can fit, so it's not a matter of trying to see if they'll fit or not. It's more along the lines of seeing how they fit for me and seeing if I can fit something else on with them. So the first thing we're going to try is the Mule here. We all know the Mule can fit on the Nomad. That's not a thing at all, but I do want to check the vehicle out for myself because I've never driven it around at all, and it's my first time spawning it, so just taking a look at it, taking it all in. But I definitely want to see what else I can fit on, so I'm going to just put it on there, take a look and see what the dimensions are, see if there's any room left over, see how I'll have to park it when I'm putting it on. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. And just loading it onto the back is pretty seamless. It's not a tough job to do. It's a pretty small vehicle, and the cargo bed on the Nomad is more than adequate for a Mule. As you can see, it fits with tons of room left over. Like I said, I definitely am trying to get a feel for what else I can do with this. What else will fit on the Nomad with these vehicles, if anything else will fit on them at all. So that's what a lot of this is about. And to fit the ROC-DS on here, so that's another goal of mine. So we're gonna do that, or test that out during this video. The next up we have the Cyclone. Like I said, again, I know these vehicles can fit on the Nomad. I'm just kind of testing for myself because I've never driven these vehicles and I've never put them onto a Nomad myself. So this is just about, you know, I came into the ability to grab some of these vehicles and I wanted to grab them and just test them with the Nomad to see what would fit in there. And that fits pretty nicely. I drove it up to the back there because it basically, the bed of it basically rolls things that's sitting on it forward a bit once you put it on there. So as you'll see, it'll move forward a little bit. Typically it's rolling while the bed's going up. That time it took a minute for it to kind of kick in, but it fit really nicely, so that was a good technique there. All right, so the next vehicle we have here is the ROC, the solo miner. And yeah, so I do like this vehicle. I have not figured out how to use it yet, so that's another thing. I have to kind of get some practice with it, but being able to put it on the ship and knowing that it sits really nicely, I'm definitely going to take it out and try to play around with it. I have played around with the ROC a little bit, so I know that it actually, I've never played around with the ROC, but I played around with the ROC-DS, and but I don't know how to mine with either, so I definitely have to put some time in. So yeah, as you can see, the ROC fits in here just as nice as the Mule does. They're almost the same size, actually, if I were to take a guess. All right, let's put the cargo bed up here and see what she looks like raised. Perfect. I mean, no issues whatsoever with the ROC. I mean, like I said, these are not unknowns here. I understand everyone knows these, but like I said, testing it for myself, being able to see it for myself and seeing what the dimensions are, getting a feel for what else I might be able to do with these setups. Next, I'm going to try the ROC-DS. A lot of people say that the ROC-DS won't fit on the Nomad. It will definitely fit on the Nomad, as you'll see here in a second, but there are some caveats, and we'll talk about those. But getting on here was a bit of a struggle, so it's not as easy to do as the other vehicles. So there was a bit of finagling. Yeah, it was it was definitely a struggle. Here we go, try number 2 here. But oh my goodness, it was. And the problem are that the tires are just obviously super wide, so they look like they'll go on and then they'll start to have a collision issue with the railing there on the side of the bed. But it'll settle if you get it into the right spot. I know it doesn't look like it here, but it'll definitely, oh, get in there. I thought I was gonna tip the ship right there. I really did. We got it. We almost, see what I'm saying? It'll settle. I should have stopped. I should have stopped when I was ahead. What? What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, stop. Okay. Whew. All right. We did it. So yeah, like I said, it'll fit in there. Takes a little finagling, a little bit of tinkering with, but it'll get in there. It'll get in there. And let's take a look at how it looks when we raise the bed here. And I don't think it moves forward at all, which is pretty interesting. I threw the, oh, it did. I knew it. Yeah, it's delayed now. Sometimes when you're doing it, you see the gradual push forward as the bed's coming up, but whatever. Same situation. But it looks good. It fits. No problem. Like, I mean, I knew that because I've done this before, but it definitely fits. No issues. So I'm just wondering why some people think that the ROC-DS won't fit on the Nomad. The Nomad's an awesome little ship. So these are things that I'm finding out about it that, like I said, just trying stuff yourself, figuring things out. You may see a different way of doing things that other people don't see. So it's always nice to just try things yourself. But there is a noise here that it's pretty prevalent. Okay, so that's one of the caveats with having the ROC-DS on the back of the Nomad. Now, I didn't check to see whether the regular ROC has that issue or not.
Your journey begins now.
I don't know. Now, at this point, I also had a problem with overheating. I also knew about the overheating issue with the Nomad. So this was another test for me. I thought the overheating was because of the ROC-DS that I was carrying on the back of the Nomad when it happened to me the last time. So I just kind of hovered here, checked out the ship heat, see if it was rising at all. It's not. So I just kind of chill out a little bit just to see if it does start to rise, and check the back to see if it's moving, because that noise just starts to bother me after a while. And I just wanted to see if I could see whether it was jostling around back there to see what was creating that noise. And it's not moving in the back, so it's totally stable back there. Just that noise is there whenever you put it on the ship. Again, I'm going to test the ROC original version to see if it does that, but the ROC-DS definitely does it, although it'll definitely fit, and that is really the only issue. So no heat issues. I go ahead and land the ship. Everything seems to be fine. I do some testing though. I do find out what that heat issue, what was causing that heat issue, and I'll link that right here above. So next off, we have the Cyclone. Now, I put the Cyclone here before, and I was going to just put the Cyclone on the back and kind of just go off and take off, because I thought all my tests were done. But as I was fumbling around with the displays here, I saw something light up that I hadn't seen light up on the left here, and I'll show you in a second. So that green bar, that right there lit up, and I'm like, okay, it said something else before. And so I'm looking through the options I have here, and I'm like, okay, well, I saw something else. Let's see if we can get it to pop up. Bam, into remote turret. And I thought this was a gun turret when I first saw it, so I wasn't really thinking too much about it. But when I got into it, I'm like, okay, well, this must be the guns that are on top of the ship. And then I hit the fire button, and that beam comes out. So I'm like, oh no, this is a tractor beam. I knew that the Nomad had a tractor beam, but what I didn't know is that the tractor beam was active and operational. So I'm like, oh, okay. Active operational tractor beam, that's where we're at. Good, I like this. So I'm testing it out. I've never used a tractor beam before, so I'm like, okay, let's see what it can do. And I thought, well, the problem why I couldn't pull it into the ship, because that's what I was trying to do, is that it might have been too heavy. I didn't know how to properly control the tractor beam, so I was like, okay, that was fun. Now let's kind of figure out what I'm going to do now that I know that this ship has a working tractor beam. So I take the Cyclone off the ship, and I go to put the Mule on the ship, and I was just going to fly around with the Mule for a little bit and see what I could pick up inside of it. But then I thought, you know what? Let's go ahead and put the mule on the back of the ship and see if I can put a quad on the ship with the mule. So I'm just trying to get the mule to as close as the left hand side of the, or the right hand side of the ship as possible, depending on what's end you're looking at, just to get some room to fit something else on there. So, but as soon as I do this, I saw the racks on the back or on the side of the mule, and I thought then, because I'm trying to go from one idea to the next, I can't focus. So I thought then, let's see if I can put a crate on the side of the mule, because that's something I had always been wondering since I saw the picture of the mule, whether those racks on the side of the mules can hold a crate. So here we are. I wanted to try that before I left here. One more thing to do, and here we are. So I'm looking, I'm trying to get it to fall in the right place, and bam. I mean, after some jostling, it settles, and yeah. So now I'm like, okay, will it stay on there? If I were to drive around, collect some stuff, put it in a box, put it on the mule, will I be able to drive from where I'm at to back to the ship and expect that box to stay where it's at? So, experimentation time. We're gonna drive around with a box on here, see if that box moves around. And, you know, hopefully we feel a little better about using this thing when we have to go out and do some mining. Alright, so I'm just trying to get top speeds, and it looks like it's holding. It looks like no problem until I go and do this. Yep, I stop and the box just keeps going. It's just, it did what it's supposed to do, I suppose. Like, that's what I thought it would do. But, you know, the fact that it'll stay on there for, you know, a little while if I was driving like a normal person made me feel good. So, you know, I'm literally trying to do some hand mining of some rare gems, and that would be a perfect way for me to go about doing it and collecting them and then get them safely back to the ship. So I tried to put the box back on there and it didn't work the second time. So in my reattempt, I go get the box, try to put it back onto the rack, and I see this. Wow, that was a game changer. So I guess when you got a box in your hand, you can throw it right up there. That's what I'm talking about, like it was meant to be. Now let's see if it'll move once I'm driving. Well, I guess it solves or answers that question. Alright, now that that's solved, time to put the mule back onto the ship and continue with my testing of what else I can fit on there, aka see if I can slide a quad on there, the hover quad, with the mule. I mean, I don't know, maybe. It looks like there might be enough space, so we're gonna see. We're gonna test it and find out. Alright, so mule parked. Time to get the hover quad and hope for the best, you know what I'm saying? Alright, and here we are trying to put the hover quad on the back of the Nomad with a mule parked on it. You know, in hindsight, I'm looking at this like I probably could have done it had I turned the mule sideways in the back and then moved the quad sideways in. Maybe. Or maybe move the quad in first, then we move the mule in. Maybe. I mean, these are things I'm going to try, but just some ideas. In case you're out there wondering what's possible, leave a comment down below if you've tried anything crazy that actually worked with trying to fit something crazy in the back of a Nomad. The craziest thing you've thrown in the back of a Nomad. Let's put them down below in the comments. That didn't work. That clearly did not work. So it got caught on that little fin on the Nomad. I don't know how it got caught, but I could have seen it coming. When I got off of it, I saw it sliding backwards, and I just got off, and it just kept going backwards. But it got caught on that little, whatever it's called. So I moved the mule, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see if we can just fit a hover quad onto the back of the Nomad. Just the hover quad itself. I mean, maybe the hover quad won't even fit. I don't know. I haven't done any research on that part of. Oh boy. Oh, that wasn't good. So here we go. We're gonna try this. Try not to die in the process. So I'm trying to move it in straight, which might have been the problem. Probably should have went ahead and kept going sideways into the ship because of the tractor beam right there. Now that was perfect. If I was smart, I would have gotten off right there. That would have been the end of it. Done. I probably would have stayed in there. But I had to move back. I'm like, no, I'm not centered. I gotta get centered. Oh, like a dummy, I didn't see the tractor beam. I knew it was there, but I was paying no attention to it. Like, oh, maybe the tractor beam is causing an issue. I'm hitting it. I'm right on it. It's probably not a good place for it to be. Oh, boy. And then I jumped down. I don't even know where that thing went. The quad that's bouncing on my ship right now is probably the quad that got hung up on the little fin in the back. Where the one is that I just got off, I have no idea. I have no clue. None. But I do know one's bouncing on my ship, so I have to get it out of the way. So we get into the ship. We're trying to pull off, trying to make sure that this thing isn't hitting us. I'm like, oh, did it stop hitting us? I don't see it. Oh, and then... oh, then that happens, yeah. Yep, there we go. So I move the ship out of the way of these bouncing quads, and since I'm all damaged, I thought, let's go to the moon base, land, repair the ship, and try this again, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and repair. There we go, repair done. All right, now we're gonna take a gander back over at the area where the bouncing quads are happening, and there they are, looking like a pair of predators looking at me. But they're still bouncing. But then I noticed something because I used the tractor beam, and I had saw those pieces of cargo down below, those cargo containers, and I didn't think much of them when I landed here initially. But with my newfound knowledge of the tractor beam and me wanting to learn how to use it, I thought, you know what? Let's hit a new phase of this exploration. Let's try this tractor beam thing. And here we are. So I'm fiddling around with the tractor beam. I figure out how to pick stuff up. I'm certain there's a way to put it into your cargo bay. I'm certain there is. I just don't know how. So I'm pushing buttons, trying different combinations, and I figure it out. There's a way to pull that stuff towards you if you hold down. I don't know. I can't recall the button right now. I'll put it up on the screen. You hold down that button and scroll your mouse wheel. It'll bring whatever stuff towards you. It's awesome. So I do that. And so I'm bringing it in. I'm like, okay, we're good to go. I'm learning how to do a tractor beam, damaging the ship, but whatever. I can go and repair it real quick. So no harm, no foul. And then I realized this thing is just absolutely too big. It's too big. It's bigger than what we need, so we're gonna throw that out. We don't even need that. So I realized that, so I get that out of there, and I target with my new zoom ability that I learned another cargo container, and I pull it into the back of the ship. And I learned a couple things with this. So I think I might have heard the term, there are grids on the ships, but there are actually grids there that you can lock cargo containers into. So that was awesome. So I saw that as I was trying to put that in there. I'm like, okay, well, good. I can just, drop this thing into place. Perfect. It clearly fits. Bam. Drop it, goes into place. Beautiful. Time to move the rest of them in. Oh, actually, now it's time to test it. Now it's time to test it and see what else I can do with it. Look at the other grids on the ship. So I figure there's 4 cargo containers of this size on the ship. I might have tried to spin it. That didn't work. So we're just going to pull the rest of them in, lock them onto the grid. And I figured I'll pull these in and then try to go and sell them at the base that I repaired at. So that's the thinking behind this. I thought, learn how to use the tractor beam, go sell the cargo that I just scavenged, and win. Maybe not, as we'll see. So yeah, so we're going over to the moon base. We're gonna land there and try to sell this stuff and make some money, because I've never made any money off of cargo before. So this would be a first for me. I heard that you can turn a profit on cargo if you have a certain amount of it. If you have a lot of cargo that you bought, you can turn a profit selling it somewhere where it sells for higher than what you bought it for. I get the economics. I knew that I wasn't gonna make much of a profit if I had bought something for this ship or whatever, but I thought, this is free cargo. It's all profit. So let's go and see if we can sell this. And I realized that this is like contraband, or it's seen as stolen items, and I can't even sell them here. So that was a waste of time. And when I realized that, I'm like, let's go throw this stuff off the ship. It's wasting space. I can put something on there that I can actually go and sell, which is the thought now. Like, okay, let's get rid of this stuff, throw it somewhere, spit on it, set it on fire. I wasted a lot of time. I could have just came here and grabbed a load of whatever without wasting all the time to track the beam and stuff in there. But I did learn some things. The time was not wasted. So now I'm going back in here and I'm trying to get a load of something that's worth something. I know nothing about transporting goods in Star Citizen, but that's not going to stop me. So I go ahead and get a load of the most expensive thing they have here, which apparently is diamonds. I don't know the profit rate on diamonds. I might have made 5,000 EUC off of this. Like max. The margins weren't good at all. But I imagine if I had a bigger ship that could carry 3 times as much as this, like the Freelancer, then I could have done something better. I'd have made 15,000. That's not even enough. That wouldn't even been worth my time. But what has been worth my time is the experience I gained while dealing with the Nomad this session. It's an awesome little ship that can carry 2 people, a ROC and a ROC-DS for some co-op mining. It can carry a Cyclone if you want to do some co-op exploration. I'm going to figure this quad situation out because I'm sure to fit one of those two. Has a tractor beam with an open cargo bay that makes it really easy to pull things in. 24 SCU of space in this cargo bed, which is just enough to make a little bit of profit. Not much, but some. And I'm sure I'll find out so much more the more I fly this thing. So stay tuned for more Nomad content. Alright, that's going to be it for me. Make sure you like if you liked, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.